Big up Spurs fans near and far with your boys in the building. Deji Spurs, and obviously Ash is in the building. Go on, Ash, my bro. Go on, my brother.
Come on, my G. Come on, my Killy. Yes, I'm in the building. We're talking up things. North London, there's only one team that's representing. Yeah, I'm saying real, recognize real. And we're here, man, to talk all things Spurs, North London derby, Tottenham at home as well, you know.
Tottenham at home, bro, which has been a minute since we've had the first game, the pleasure of hosting the North London derby. So today we're just going to be getting into it. I'm not going to lie to you, man, I had to go radio silent last week because when it comes to international football, bro, I don't know about you, but I just find it so dusty. So dusty that I can't think of anything to say. I can't be bothered to stream. I can't be bothered to do anything. But as soon as it's over, it's just like the thing comes back. The kryptonite is at the building, and I'm ready to do my thing, bro. So I don't know about you, bro. Did you watch anything in the international break or whatever?
I was playing football with myself. Yeah, I'm saying I've got, you have to just get on with life. Take a quick sabbatical. Do your thing, you know what I'm saying? Re-energize, refocus, pattern up, and then that's it. You go from there, bro. Because international, let's face it, man. Like, no one really cares.
No one really cares, bro. No one really cares, which is a shame because you should want to, for your country, represent it, but they've just bastardized the whole thing, so it's rubbish. But look, let's get into it. I had the pleasure of being at JP, the Arsenal fan, wedding on the weekend, and Mr. Bood Bance was there as well. So we had a lot of banter. I was polite to him, but I told him as soon as it hits Monday, it's going to be long. So look, the North London derby. I can't wait, to be honest with you, bro. I can't wait. We should have had this game the weekend we played Newcastle. And for me, just quickly, wanting to get your views as a Spurs fan, because actually you do a lot of, the way you break down the Spurs play is brilliant. I'm not gonna lie, and I think it's only right that we set the tone for what we're gonna be seeing all week, all streams, all platforms. Big up to everyone that's locked in, locked on. We're about to get into it. I think let's start with the opposition. Arsenal, 3 games, 7 points. They beat a Wolves team that don't eat meat 2-0. They limped over the line, in my opinion, against Aston Villa. And then I did an up-watch. I watched them against Brighton. And it was got to be one of the dustiest performances I've ever seen in my life. Bro, your assessment on Arsenal this season so far, and then we'll do an assessment on our club, Tottenham Hotspur.
Arsenal, typically, they're doing what the City boys do, start off slow. And so when you're watching the performances, you're like, what's going on here, man? I thought Arsenal were meant to be this team that play attacking football, or at least possession-based football, where they kind of submit that opposition into mercy. But yeah, man, I look at their front line, I look at their midfield, and I look at their performances on the whole. It just seemed very, like, safe. Does that make sense? So it was like they weren't really flexing their muscles, showing their guns, but at the same time, they were getting the job done. So a lot of their fans were satisfied, I suppose, because that's what they're used to seeing now. They've seen the rush tactics, they've seen the safe play, and now they're just accustomed to seeing this type of football. Do you know what I mean? Manager doesn't want to lose any games, so he's playing it really close to his chest, and that's the reason why you're seeing teams like Forest perform against them. You're like, not Forest, sorry, Wolves. If Wolves had like a proper striker up top, you know what I'm saying?
A Solanke, in proper striker, like a Solanke type.
Yeah. He had a bit more like gumption, a bit more, something about them. You think, Wolves could have got something from that. Then you look at that Villa one, Watkins. What happened, my G? My brother. Normally, he would put that away. So I only put it down to, that was the second game of the season. Them men are kind of like rusty. Yeah, I'm saying. So give them a few more games, they'll pattern up, and then you might start to see the real players turn up. So that's what I put it down to, that just sharpness and match readiness. That's the reason why, like, Watkins missed that. There was two big chances when Ray did the double save. I don't know if you remember that.
100.
And then obviously people were like, oh, against Brighton, they were in control the whole time. Arsenal looked the better the team. But at the same time, Brighton will kind of penetrate and pause through the centre.
Come on, bro. Let's keep it real. Keep it real.
They had a better like end ball. It could have caused them problems. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, look, Arsenal can be got at. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to go wild here and say like, raw, Arsenal are this and that. Man will try to jump on man. Like, get me?
That's why I brought you in, because you do analysis. Where people say some people talk on streams and we don't back the talk, it's all a lot of feeling. A lot of the stuff that you do, you're an analytical stats guy, breaking down piece by piece. And so, no one can ever throw that kind of shade at you, my bro. I think everything you're saying is legit. You say safe, I say lackluster. Do you get what I'm saying? Because for me, Arsenal have been dusty, to be honest, bro. I swear down. Typically based on what you said, Wolves, had they been up to rhythm, they could have easily got some points there at the Emirates. For me, Aston Villa should have won. Ollie Watkins, for me, proved why I think Solanke is better than Watkins. Because if that's Solanke bangs. I just don't see how Solanke misses those two opportunities. The first one in the first half, it was harder to miss than to score. And then the second half, the two headers, one of them has to go in. If it's 2-0 to Villa, Arsenal don't come back. At the very most, they come away with a point, but they don't win the game. And against Brighton, let's be real, bro, they were dusty. And Jasmine, do you know what I mean, had got himself sent off and they're all up in arms. So for me, Arsenal haven't been great. You said something, a key word, and this is why I know you're very analytical. This is why I had to get my moment with Ashmatic right now. You said they can be got at. I've been feeling that from the first 3 games, bro. This Arsenal team doesn't look as imperious as last season's team. Arsenal fans shaking their bum violently, but when you look at the game, when you unpick the game, when you go behind the lens, they look more vulnerable, in my opinion. It's just that they've been lucky to kind of get over the line. And I think the point, would you say the points so far that Arsenal have accumulated, I know you respect them, but do you think it's flattering for Arsenal at the moment? Does the 7 points, is it hiding the cracks? Because you can throw the same shade at our club as well, and I'll get to that in a moment.
You know what? Sometimes you have to win ugly. It is what it is. Sometimes you just have to get the W over the line. And I think is
it ugly?
Yeah, no, that's the reason why they are where they are and where we are. Because sometimes, like as I said at the start of the game, at the start of the show, pragmatism can allow you to win games because you are set up in a way that you're less likely to concede like many chances. And I think that's what's happened with Arsenal. So wherever you lose going forward, you gain going back and vice versa. So do you go for control or do you go for chaos? Do you know what I'm saying? And it's whether you think the manager, it's down to the manager what he thinks is best suited to win the game. Do you know what I'm saying? A game of football. And I think Arsenal and Arteta has been scarred in the past when they, that first season when they did get seconds, they were a lot more, I'd say, adventurous higher up the pitch. Do you know what I'm saying? They scored a lot more goals, created a lot of chances. And then the second season, when they finished second, I thought that had scarred them. So they didn't want to be that same team that got exposed easily. And so they shut up shop. You know what I'm saying? A lot quicker, a lot sooner. And that's what you're seeing the effects of.
Yeah, no, 100%. I 100%. No, I agree. And look, there's a lot going on with Arsenal at the moment. I made some early season predictions. One of the things I see about Arsenal, and I always say, I think they're more Spursy than Spurs. There's a lot of negative comment about our club and what Tottenham are supposed to do. I think the negativity that's afforded to Spurs sometimes can be a bit over the top, but I do get it. For example, we needed a winger, yeah? We brought in Odegaard. Might not be the winger that you wanted, but for me, that young youth, from what I've seen so far from him, has a lot of potential to do devastation on that right-hand side. Yeah. So I take him, even though it ain't no Eze. Yeah. We needed to bring in a striker. Again, he's no Harry Kane. Yeah. But we brought in Solanke. Arsenal, in my opinion, have needed to do the same thing. They've needed to bring in a winger for Martinelli because this guy's dusty. Do you get what I'm saying? They didn't replace Martinelli. They needed to bring in a striker. They've not brought in a striker. Would it be fair to say that Arsenal are more Spursy than Spurs? If you're criticising Tottenham, who are bringing in players in their positions, granted, whether you like it or not, we are doing the business required. Okay, we haven't dealt with the back line, but, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. That Sava doesn't really like to hear, but whatever. What do you say about Arsenal, who is so obvious they need a striker, didn't bring them in? And I just think, for me, are they really about this life, or are they just frauds? And I'm not here to do banter, I'm not here to do fight talk, but from an outsider looking in, I really wish they would. I really wish they would do the right thing. I don't give a damn about them, but what would it look like if Arsenal actually brought in the players they needed to get the job done? I guess that's the question I'm going to you, bro.
If they brought in a guy Corres, in my opinion, they're going for it. They're being serious. Do you know what I'm saying? They're just like one player away from getting where they need to be. Instead, they brought in a Raheem Sterling. You know what I'm saying? Now, me personally,
I forgot about that, but yeah, it's true. I don't know who is he cover for. Do you get what I'm saying? But go on, bro.
Nah, you can jump in whenever you want. Pause. But like for me, like Sterling, his best years are behind him. I'll be honest with you. However, I'll be fair to Arsenal fans. He does add something a little bit different in their attacking line, so they can bring on someone that can cover the left, that can cover the right as well, and give Saka a little bit of respite. Or if Saka's like off it or he's a little bit tired, Sterling comes on last 30-20 minutes and he's a box crasher typically. And I was watching something with Monday Night Football and Gary Neville was talking, and he was like, so how did you get the best out of Sterling? And he was like, no, it was Arteta, isn't it? Arteta did the coaching with Sterling. So I think that's where the reunited link came back, where the man was like, yeah, we want, if Trossard's on the ball or Martinelli's on the ball and they fire a ball across the box, we want Sterling to be on the end of that and to put the ball, and vice versa. If Saka's putting the ball into the box, and, you know, my man Sterling just arrive in the right place at the right time to finish those chances off, because they don't really have that many box crashes, in my opinion. And I think Sterling suits that. The little dead tap-ins, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what he does. So, like, the other thing I would say, though, to caveat that, is when Sterling's on the ball, certain times I'm like, brother, release the team. You know what I'm saying? Man's holding on to it. Like, you know, like the dog chasing his tail, going back on himself, twisted himself up, going in, going on. Man, that's what you doing. You know what I'm saying?
It's true, it's true.
He just reminds me of that kind of you know, everyone laughs about his T-Rex arms running around, but like, yeah, to me, he just sometimes needs to learn how to kind of just play it simple, innit? So I'll be interested to see him in that Arsenal shot, in that Arsenal top, and see what he provides for them going forward. Because a lot of Arsenal fans won't lie to you, a lot of them didn't want him. But
they've been shaking their bum for him, bro.
As soon as they got him, the narrative changed, bro. The narrative, all of a sudden, yeah, Sterling, it makes sense. Look at his GA last season, the season before that, blah, blah, blah. They all became politicians overnight, bro.
I'm telling you. You know what? It's all of a sudden they start shaking their bum violently for this brother. Look, I respect Sterling. I think for me, he's England's heritage. I think the way they dealt with him on an international level is a disgrace. But one thing we know is that he's not clinical. To score one goal, he's going to miss 5 or 6. That's not me. It's just, you know, you see it in the games. And also, when I look at Sterling and Martinelli, I don't know which one of them I want on my left-hand side. Pause. You know what I'm saying? Like, really and truly, they're both as much of a muchness, in my opinion. I'm not really seeing the uplift. And Trossard, we know, is a little bit of a Brennan Johnson, can only come on and do something, but can't really start the game. So for me, Arsenal have problems. When I look at that Arsenal squad, I mean, look, I'm going to ask you legitly before we get into... No, maybe I'll ask you about Tottenham Now, let me ask you about legitly. I've said overall, this is why I'm happy with this space, because me and Ash, we can talk with no interruptions. Do you get me? Apart from the comments where I'm seeing bare Arsenal fans, Trevally is saying he wishes he clip us, bro. I wish you would clip us. You get me? Because we've got a whole heap of things to say that get me that you can use to clip yourself. So don't worry about that. BJ consistently dropping them. Thank you very much. Big up to you. Look, today's gonna be fire. This is a warm-up. I got Northside later in the evening where I'm chopping that brother up real to pieces. He knows it's coming. Ash, legitly now. Arsenal squad, Tottenham squad. This has been a debate. I'm saying to you, let me remind you, forget Arsenal's 11. We know Arsenal's 11. Assuming Martinelli starts for Arsenal, yeah. We know Jesus doesn't start. None of this crap that this Jesus is a starter in that Arsenal lineup. I'm more of a starter in that Arsenal lineup than Jesus. Arsenal's bench looks like this, because people think I'm a madman when I say Tottenham squad is better than the Arsenal squad. You might also think I'm a madman, but I'm happy to debate it. Big up to everyone locked in, locked on. El Cockerell in the building as well. Big up. We're coming back to the chat in a moment. Arsenal's bench consists of Trossard. I'll give him his flowers.
I'll take that. I'll take the Trossard.
Jesus, in my opinion, is a Richarlison. He's that. You get me? He's not going to bag bare goals. He's all right. He's an extra man on the field. After that, it gets pretty dusty, in my opinion. Jorginho's rubbish. Marquinhos is rubbish. Fabio Vieira's rubbish. Who else have they got? Calamari don't look impressive, in my opinion. Kivio don't look impressive, in my opinion. Zinchenko is rubbish. And who else is there? Tomiyasu's crap. So really, off the bench, Arsenal has one decent player that you can say, ooh, Trossard's coming on. Ooh. That's it. Now, as for our club, you know our squad. Well, I like to just name a couple. Bentancur doesn't start for us, I don't think. We can bring on Bentancur. I don't care what anyone says about Brennan. Brennan, for me, is like for like with... Well, he's better than most of them brothers there. He's no Trossard. But look, Richarlison is up there with Jesus. They're on par. In fact, Richarlison starts more for Brazil than Jesus, so he's already better. Arsenal don't have a Bentancur type player on their bench. Let's be real. They don't have a Brennan Johnson that they can bring on. They don't have a Bergvall. They don't have an Archie Gray. I mean, bro, what are we doing here, bro? What are we doing? So as a squad, we are better than Arsenal. Do you agree with that statement?
I couldn't agree with it, because I just think defensively, they've got the edge on us, and also in midfield. I think
midfield.
Yeah. I tell you why. I just you know what it is. Spurs attacking wise, like, we look a threat, because I know what you're thinking for. You're thinking about on the ball, going with the ball, going forward. How can we hurt teams? How can we damage them? Rare tear. Do you understand? Yeah. But I mean, if those midfielders that we had more goals in them, I would tend to lean on your side. Does that make sense? So Archie Gray had goals. Not saying he's a 6 in it, but if he had more goals in him, if Bergvall, I saw goals from him. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying they can't. I mean,
obviously, he's still new. That's the element of us. Yeah, they're new.
This is what I'm saying. We ain't seen it yet. Like Bentancur, or back in the day under Conte when he was banging goals, I would argue, yeah, you know what, our midfield's banging. But since that injury, since he's come back, I haven't seen that same mobility in terms of him, like, getting around that pitch, being sharp, like, do you know what I'm saying, making an impact, controlling the game, and then adding goals to the game. I ain't quite seen that same Bentancur that we saw of 2 seasons, or maybe even a season and a half ago. So that's what I mean. Basuma's only just scored a goal. You know what I'm saying? I know he's got in his locker, but I need to see it more, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But in terms of Arsenal, I'm not saying they got back to
but Arsenal don't have a midfield though. I know what you're saying, but they've only got...
in terms of like, in terms of like, and I'm going back to the defensive aspect. I think defensively, they look like more assured in defense, because they've got like your Rice and Partey alongside a Ben White that can drop into the midfield, or vice versa. I would say like Zinchenko's not the best defensively, but because he's able to keep the ball from the left back position and help invert and help Rice with that progression when he does play as a 6. Do you know what I mean? At times, I know Rice plays as a number 8, but again, Rice has got more goals in that midfield.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the bench though, bro.
Because if
you talk about the first 11, I still
think
I
hear you, all right. Yeah, I just thought I brought Rice in just to say like the whole squad because time.
I mean, we'll deal with the whole squad. Deal with the whose bench is better then.
All right, cool.
Overall, then we'll deal with the first 11, and then we'll deal with the squad, and we'll give it out of 10 because I just want to squash that debate. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Bench for bench, who's a better bench?
Tough. I still think when I look at
for me, Jorginho, you'd be vexed if you had Jorginho in your team. You'd be vexed with Fabio Vieira. You'd be vexed with what's his name? Who else have they got that they can bring in? They haven't got really anyone. Kivior or any of these man. Even
I'd say Trossard is a step up. Yeah, I'm
saying I'm saying my argument is that's the only half decent player.
Yeah, I'd agree in that sense. In terms of goals, I'm scratching my head. Trossard, Sterling.
Okay,
Sterling, and then I need to get their team in front of me. I was going to say, could you bring up their team? Their bench.
Their bench. Let me see if I can try and get it up. But their bench, from what I know, and big up to everyone locked in, locked on. Can you just give us your name and your bench? But from their bench, I can tell you Zinchenko, Kivior, Tomiyasu, Calamari, Fabio Vieira, Marquinhos.
You're right.
Marquinhos, and Jesus.
Yeah, she's not a big enough goal for it.
Mourinho, does he start? Does Mourinho? He's a new player. We don't know. He's an unknown for me. I'm not going to give him any props yet.
If you talk about like on the ball, like giving goals and creating goals, then there's a debate to be had. But I think the players that you mentioned off the ball, they're more disciplined and they add to their structure, and the quality doesn't drop, in my opinion, because they've got more seasoned pros. So they've got players that have played at that level for longer periods than like your Archie Gray's. Not to say Archie Gray is not a top baller, but in terms of like minutes in that, like Calafiori, he had a season at Bologna, and before that, he had a stint at Roma. Do you understand? So even before Roma, he had a stint somewhere else. I think it was Basel. And he played as a left back, left wing, centre mid, and a centre back. Obviously at Bologna for that whole season. Well, not whole season, but majority of the season, he played as centre back. Do you understand? For Italy, he's played as centre back. If I compare that with Archie Gray, he had one season in the Championship at Leeds. And then you look at Bergvall, he's had a whole season in the Swedish league. So that's not considered the top 7. So that's what I mean by like off the ball, like some of these guys have got a bit more experience and they can control, and the level doesn't drop off for them. Not to say our level drops off either, but that's what I'd throw into the debate if I was going to argue it. But like in terms of goals, like if we're looking at attacking the 10, then, you know, there's an argument to be had there. I think there's not a lot in it. Like other than Sterling and Trossard, I would definitely take Trossard. I would take Sterling as well. I would take him. Like if you look at if you say Odegaard doesn't start for us, I think he might start. It's debatable whether he starts.
I like Odegaard. I mean, a lot of Spurs fans didn't like his performance against Newcastle. I'm like, why? He could have headed that chance in and maybe scored and given us the win. I thought he had a brilliant game. You know, what you want is a winger that's going to put the back line under pressure. They were scared to move forward. That was part of the reason why we were so dominant against that Newcastle team. He was doing his thing. So I like him. And I think there's something about maybe what it is, I guess, that I'm feeling is that Bergvall, Archie Gray, albeit they're young, Odegaard are young, I just think that talent-wise, their levels on some of these Arsenal players, and we will see it in time. Maybe we haven't seen it yet because they're still young, but I think in a season or two, we will be saying that their levels on some of these Arsenal cronies. Big up to Travelli in the building with the super chat. Big up to you. Thank you very much. Big up to everyone. I'm trying to keep up with the chat while listening to my brother as well. And
It's like that player we've got, Nuari. You heard about him?
Yeah, no, he's quality. He's
He's
quality.
the young
But
and
is he
like
gonna get? Is he gonna get a sniff though? He's not come on yet.
that's what I'm saying with like Archie Gray hasn't really come on either. Like, so that's why I'm throwing that caveat out there, isn't it? Like, as much as potential as that kid's showing, I need to see Gray being given a chance as well. Do you know what I'm saying? I know he will be. I'm very confident because we're going to be playing Europa and we've got Carling Cup against Coventry coming up. Do you understand? So I expect to see him get some minutes, if not maybe start in some of those games. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm just making it, I'm just trying to be fair
100.
on those things, innit? Do you know what I'm saying?
And that's why you're here, Ash. You're bringing balance. But all them Arsenal cronies in the chat laughing at me. McQuinnos was sold. Fabio Vieira was sold. So what, bro? These are the dusty players that you, man, brought in. And about a season ago, you were shaking your bum violently for them. Good. That's your bench is still dusty. You heard Ash say it. You heard me say it. When you really look behind the lens, your bench is no better than Spurs' bench. I think actually Tottenham bring on more quality, more players of impact when we need to make subs more than Arsenal. Arsenal can only make 1 or 2 subs, Sterling and Trossard. The rest is rubbish in our opinion. Whereas Tottenham, we can change our whole midfield free if we need to. Yeah, because if Kulusevski drops in to the number 8 role, which we'll talk about, that creates even more ballers on the bench. So I do think we have more than people are giving our club credit for, Ash, in terms of the players, and the squad, and the bench. And I want to do a quick thing in a moment, but let's quickly for a couple minutes just talk on Tottenham so far. A lot of Tottenham fans shaking their bum violently. A lot of Tottenham fans getting upset. Bare Tottenham fans telling me they're ready for Ange to leave the building. You already know my opinion, bro. You know, Pep, when you're trying to implement a style of play, you need to let it land. For me, the first 3 games, I've been seeing domination in the location. Yes, you knew it was coming because we're going to see it again this weekend. Domination in the location, which means, bro, it's only a matter of time before we pop someone and they're going to get hurt. I'm feeling already, you already know where I'm going to go with this. My prediction for this weekend's game, it's going to be long for a certain team. Are you not feeling positive, bro, about what you're seeing from our club? I just want to hear from the heart, from you. What are your reservations? What is exciting you about what you've seen in the first 3 games? Because it can't be dooms. I'm not seeing where everyone is so dooms. Ange doesn't change it. He does.
Yeah,
it does change it. We saw the changes in the last game. So tell me, bro. Yeah.
I mean, like, I look at the last game. I thought we played all right in the North London derby when we played at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. In fact, not even at the Emirates. At the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, we were unlucky for Mickey van der Ven's goal not to be ruled onside. That was like inches offside. Do you know what I'm saying? And then I felt also Romero hitting the post. I don't know if you remember. We had like
I remember.
Romero hits the post. You're wrong side of the post. It goes off. And at one point, we were on top of them. Do you know what I'm saying? Especially in that second half, I thought we really came out with fire in our belly. And even Arteta admitted that we did a few things that caught him off guard, that caught him off by surprise in that second game. So he even respects Ange. He says, like, you know what? You know, this guy here, he's not just all like, I want to win this, I want to win that. He's coming with different tactics to try and win the game. But that goal we conceded when Saka had the mismatch against Ben Davies, because remember, that was the defense. Ben Davies was the weak link at fullback. And we had also Højbjerg in midfield, which I thought was also a mismatch. He scored the own goal, if you remember, right? From that corner. I remember. That cast us back. And our set piece defending was quite poor. And I think this season, our set piece defending so far has been improved. I know we've been a bit all over the place against Everton. It was a bit like we reduced them to half chances. Do you know what I'm saying? But against Newcastle, I can't remember the too many set pieces chances they had where they had a clear shot on goal. So I think that's where I get excited. I'm like, right, if we don't concede soft goals in that area, like to a set piece, yes, I'm mad about that goal we conceded against Newcastle, but we need to shut things like that off. I get excited because I can see, and I look at the numbers where we're winning that ball back in the final third more frequently. In fact, when it comes to like tackles, I think we're the number one team in terms of tackles.
Say again, baby. Number one team in terms of tackles. You get me?
Tackles. Like people don't understand the reason why we're high in tackles versus interceptions is because that's where we're winning the ball. We're dominating in the final third. Some people don't like this word, but field tilt, like some fans say that.
Yeah.
We're dominating in their half, in their final third. Do you know what I'm saying? In their defensive third, we're in their box. We got the most touches out of any Premier League team.
Yeah.
In the box. Do you know what I'm saying? So that tells me that's how we're defending.
Yeah.
Sometimes where we get caught out is when, you know, we rush attack them. So the reason why we play half the pitch is to win that ball there and then create a chance because we're nearer to their goal. We're getting caught out certain times because teams are beating that. And then there's less players at the back, if that makes sense, because they beat in our first line of defense.
Yeah, of course.
Team learning as a unit, but I can get excited about it. I'm saying, yeah, cool. That's for me, that's teething problems. We're gonna get better the more time we do it. Do you know what I'm saying? And then we were missing a gunman up top. We were missing a centre forward. Certain times, Johnson's playing balls into the box. You know, if you've got a striker there, he's putting that away because he's running into that 6-yard box where Son peeling off a little bit. He's not going to necessarily be in those striker positions. So, yeah, I'm going to be excited. I'm saying, like, raw, if we can mimic some of what we did good in that game of last season when we lost 3-2, only a goal in it, cut out some of the mistakes, e.g. an own goal, set piece by Havertz that scored. Do you know what I'm saying? If Maddison stays on his feet, because remember the goal they scored, it happened when he got clipped. Tried to stay on his feet. You know what I'm saying? Then it broke to Maddison. He felt like a challenge and he goes down easy. Then they win the ball. They link the ball into, I think it was Party, I think he went into. And Højbjerg went missing. They do a quick diagonal. Oh, actually, I think it was Havertz. They do a quick high diagonal into Saka. Saka's 1v1 versus Ben Davies. Ben Davies cuts in. Like, you know, he ain't really got that mobility in his hips no more. He needs that OAP bag. You know what I'm saying?
You know the ones. Yeah.
Then Saka just puts it in the corner, like, you know, what can you do? And that was like the sucker punch we got last season. So I think when you cut those little elements out and the way we were playing, I think it could be a closer game than a lot of Arsenal fans think. Because a lot of Arsenal fans, they think they're going to smoke us, bro. They feel, and I think, I don't think
they've been smoking up Budgie Banton, them Arsenal fans, smoking Budge. That's what it is. But no, keep going, bro. Sorry.
Yeah. But I just think all it is for me, when you've got people are sleeping on Basuma, in my opinion. Like,
same.
I showed clips in my last show where he can beat the press. Do you know what I'm saying? If he beats that press and he finds one of those forward players, it's a long day for everyone. Do you know what I'm saying? And like you said, I think you were going to get into this, but having Kulu on the right in the midfield and Maddison on the left in midfield, allowing him to drift, it is a madness because we create mad overloads. It's
in Tokyo Drift, bro. It's Tokyo Drift. Come on.
And them man there, they've got what? Jorginho, Party. They ain't really got legs like that.
Come on, bro.
They ain't really got that.
Wait, are you dumb? I can't wait.
It's kind of mad. Odegaard, I talk on him real quick. With Odegaard, the only thing people can get at him is his end product. That's it. That's all you got on him. But as a youngster, that's going to happen. Decision making in that final third, that's going to happen. But I saw him have a shot just outside the box against you.
Keep it safe.
And it just, like, I'm like, brother, if you just cut that ball across the box, you know what I'm saying, you're doing more damage. And he will learn that with time, do you understand? But the fact that you said, like, he's able to get that ball under, and that allows us to get up the pitch. His first touch is good. He's confident. He can run at man. He can stand up. He can have his head up. Those type of things there, people aren't taking into consideration. Actual ball carrying it like, all right, cool. Man will look at the stats. Oh, he's not really beating man via dribbles, tear. But if you're able to carry the ball up the pitch, you're a threat, in my opinion. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and he's one of the weaker wingers because then you've got Son. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, this is what I'm saying. When you break it down like this, how can we not be optimistic? Another thing that I know you were going to talk about, and I'm sure you've noticed, And I think it got skipped in our last one, the last show that we did together with Saba on the show. They missed that point you made, which is that we are actually, people are having less opportunities at us. I made that point, but it skipped, and then you made it, and people went over everyone's head. In the Leicester game, I think Leicester had 2 or 3 chances the whole game. In the Everton game, there was no chance for them. And in the Newcastle game, they had 4 chances the whole game. 4. And that includes the little period in the first half when they were sourcing. That in itself is part of Orange Ball, no? We are going to minimize you to less chances, which means you have to be clinical. Because if you're not clinical, it is long for you, because you're not going to create those amount of chances. Watkins ain't going to have the same opportunities he had against Arsenal, against our club. It's not going to happen, because we don't allow that to happen. That in itself is growth, no? That is growth. That's something we're doing different. Last season, we were attacking, but we were having bare shots coming at us. Vicario was having to make bare saves. He's not having to make that many saves. I don't really remember him making too many saves in any of the games.
No, against the 3 games, he hasn't.
Hardly, maybe 1 or 2.
Not many as he needed where he's had to save us. Like, obviously Newcastle, I think it was Murphy that came on that got the shot again and the near post in the second half where he had to get down and save something. But against Everton, the shot he saved, I think it was because Odegaard made a mistake. He passed it into midfield blindly. They picked up on it, and then they got a shot off, which he got across his box and he saved. Yeah. And then Leicester was Vardy in it. Vardy had a chance where it was a quick break, a quick transition, and then he found himself like in the box. And then again, Vicario got down to his side and saved that shot. Do you know what I'm saying? But you're right. Apart from that, I'm kind of scratching my head, because even like Isaac, like, he didn't really trouble us in that game. He hit the woodwork, but it looked like a cross.
That was a lot. That was a cross. That woodwork.
Yeah, people are like, oh, like, he's not. No, he didn't really bang. Gordon again didn't really.
He didn't have a shot. I don't think Gordon had a shot on goal the whole game.
Yeah, like, and Gordon's meant to be that that guy for them. So obviously Barnes was the one that caused us the most trouble. And then Murphy when he came on. But apart from that, I'm scratching my head, bro. Yeah, I'm scratching my head.
And I think people sleep on that. Big up VJ for the super chat as well. Thank you very much. But I think people really do sleep on that, bro. We are conceding less chances. Yes, okay, things haven't gone according to plan. But for me, what I'm seeing different with us this season that is different to last season is last season, I think if you're being real, we were kind of lucky as well in some games.
Yeah, we were.
That's why we were top. When you're top of the league, the decisions have to kind of go your side as well, or you get a kind of last minute. The Luton game where we won 1-0, that kind of springs to mind. If we went to 10 men, we could have easily lost that game, but we got it over the line somehow. This season, I would actually say we're a bit more robust in how we play. There's been an improvement, but the points doesn't show that yet. But I do feel like, do you feel that we are a better team, at least, based on the little that you've seen in these 3 games? And then we'll quickly get into this weekend's predictions and also predicted lineup and team news.
Yeah, I think as a team, we've shifted a lot of the players that came on for us. So Oliver Skip, he came on a lot of the time last season. I remember against West Ham and Aston Villa, he featured. And I was like, why are we bringing on Skip for? Højbjerg as well, he's gone. Although he has a different role, I just feel like the profile of his player in terms of what Ange wants, he wants a player that's kind of press resistant, someone that can carry the ball up the pitch. So can Højbjerg, do you remember like Højbjerg running with the ball a lot last season? Like in general, I don't think he's that type of player.
Yeah.
Can Højbjerg beat a man? Maybe not. I think Højbjerg, people appreciate his passing from deep and he let it go quite early. But I've seen Basuma, I'll be real. I know a lot of people don't like him, but I've seen Basuma, especially in that, I think it was the Everton game when he was doing switches of play, balls over the top. and those long balls were landing. And then against Newcastle, he's beating the press, he's carrying the ball, he's beating his man, and it was reminiscent of last season. So I'm saying, you add some of the midfielders that we already got to that, like some of the youngsters, like we know what Bergvall can bring, and Maddison's under pressure. But that's the reason why you're seeing an upturn, in my opinion, of Maddison. Like he's playing a lot better, and he's getting that. Like that, there was a couple of chances against Everton and Leicester. I'm thinking, right, he should be putting that away. He gets it down as first touch when we've gone direct. Because I haven't spoke about that when we switched up. A lot of the times last season we're doing short passes, horseshoe football. Now we're doing balls over the top straight into Maddison. He's becoming like a box crasher, doing that like old school Dele Alli, arriving in the box late. And I'm thinking, that's a different dimension. Could we possibly do that into a Solanke? Do you know what I'm saying? There's a statistic going around about Kulusevski, how I think he's created one of the most chances in 2024 at the moment, or 2024, 2025.
Tell these Arsenal cronies, yeah? They keep shaking their bum for Odegaard. We got the brother right here representing Sweden, you know what I mean? Yes, it's Odegaard. He's Norwegian.
It says even like for Sweden, I think he had like the most over the international weekend. He had like 8.9. It's the SofaScore ratings, like 59, 12 accurate passes in the final third, 9 recoveries, 6 out of his 8 dribbles completed, created 6 chances, 6 ground duels won. So he's clearly like loving life at the moment. You need some of your midfielders. Once you put them in the right position and players in the right position, you start to see a different level. You start to see them thrive a bit more. And I think Kulusevski is I call him an RCM, a right-sided centre mid.
Yeah.
And that's where he's playing at the moment for Spurs. So, and it allows our quicker wingers, because he hasn't got a lot of pace. That's one thing about him. And if I'm going to get onto him for something, it's decision making. He needs to make it a bit quicker. Once he starts to improve that, and he recognizes where the space is, like how to hurt teams in transition, we're going to start destroying teams. It's going to be a long day for people. I'm telling you.
I love it. And I hope these Arsenal fans, everyone that's locked on, I hope you're hearing it, because my brother didn't stutter. You get me? It's going to be long. I got Ben here. Ben is saying, you're a madman. You're an idiot. Bruv, it takes one to know one, you idiot self. You get me? You're an idiot with the adaptation in the location. You know you hear it, baby. You know what is coming. All you Arsenal fans shaking your bum. I can't wait for us to slap you, man, this weekend. Look, we're going to quickly get into it now. Moving forward. Big up to everyone, though. I hope you are in there enjoying it. Smash a like, all them things. Now, bro, let's quickly talk about the kind of injury news, how we see both teams setting up before we give our predictions, where you think our strengths and weaknesses lie, where Arsenal's strengths and weaknesses lie, what we need to do. Let's help our team. Let's help Postecoglou slap up these Arsenal teams. So that's what you're going to do. And then we're going to give our predictions. And then everyone in the chat can join us. But Arsenal fans, Artillero, all you people there, we're about to expose you. Expose your club. Because I've been watching your matches. And we've been seeing the cracks. You get me? They're shaking your bum with that purple phone. Don't worry. We're about to burst that bubble today. So, Ash, team news is, we already know there is no Jasmine Rice. Oh, what a shame. Because Arsenal fans were shaking their bum. When he came off at halftime, that's why Tottenham got into the game last year. Well, Arsenal fans, there's no Jasmine Rice. There's no Muller rice. There's no jollof rice. There's no pilau rice. There's no rice and peas. Rice ain't there. Get over it. Yeah? We now know Mourinho. I mean, for me, I just think it's got to be. This is why I say that this club is more Spursy than Spurs. Big up to MK the Don, Me and you got to do a show this week. Don't go hiding. Don't go hiding under the curtain. I swear that teams are supposed to do medicals, bro, before they come to a club. This Arsenal team brings in a brother that can't go toe-to-toe with their own defender and hurts himself. My man hurt himself in training and he's out for 2 months. That's got to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So Mourinho ain't there. We don't get to see him. Calamari got cooked on the weekend, apparently. Remember, Udogie was in that same game, by the way. Arsenal fans shaking your bum. Udogie was playing. Guess what? He's fine. Yeah. Calamari looks like could be a major doubt this weekend, which means, looking at the Arsenal lineup, it's Shiver Me Timbers out on the left, Ben White, Gabriel, Saliba. Saliba I do rate, I'm not going to lie to you, with Raya, midfield of Jorginho. Or they might drop Havertz in the 8, you know. He's a madman, this brother. He could drop Havertz.
I think he'll keep him up.
So if he keeps him up top, then we're looking at is it Partey's Partey, all right? Partey's fine with Jorginho. We're looking at Odegaard with Martinelli probably starting, Saka and Havertz. I don't know about you, bro. I mean, a lot of people shake their bum on names, but there's nothing there to scare me. Do you get me?
To be fair to Arsenal, I think Havertz's form at the moment, he's showing a lot of confidence. I saw him play against Hungary for Germany, and he looks like a player that's rejuvenated. The goal he scored as well against Brighton, that was a nice finish.
He took that well.
He took that very well. So I'm like, right, you know what, Havertz, he's showing his strength. And I know what he's a rhyme guy, someone that arrives in the box real late, understands where the space is, physical. He can be a target man at top, but doesn't always stay up top, can drift. So he can cause and ask different questions, create different problems for a team. Martinelli's the one we can laugh at, really, because he hasn't really been doing much.
I don't even mention Martinelli because he's just not that guy.
I mean, compared to the season where he had that standout season, he had like crazy GA. I can't remember what it was, the season before last. He was really turning up, and then since the injuries, it's been stop-start. He hasn't been the same guy. But Saka will be there. I mean, we know what he possesses. He's a quality player. And then obviously, for me, last season at the
who's the danger man? Who are you worried about? Go on, sorry. Who are you worried about?
No, I mean, Saka for me is a danger man. You have to worry about Saka
against Udogie. I felt last year at the Emirates, Udogie had him in the pocket. To be honest, he couldn't do jack. And that's despite the fact he had picked up a yellow card early on in the game. I've never seen Saka so quiet in my life. I didn't know if I was looking at Saka or someone that got sacked. Do you get what I'm saying? Because he couldn't do jack against Udogie. And watching the Brighton game, sorry to cut you, bro. You know, one thing I can say, and we saw it against Italy in the Euros many years ago, we saw it against Brighton. Saka's not that guy, you know. He don't like physicality. He wants you to leave him alone so he can cut to the left and shoot in the corner. But if you wrap him up, he's really not about that life. And hence why that Brighton player, was just roughing him up in the game. He's a little bit like a Brennan Johnson. He don't want no smoke like that either. Udogie is all for it, mate. If you want to run, let's run. If you want to fight, let's fight. If you want to get down there, let's get down there. I think it could be.
Physically, you're right. Physically, Udogie is more imposing than a Saka. Problem with Udogie at the moment, and with a lot of our players, is concentration. I feel like with Udogie, he's quite raw. He's young, still learning the game. He's got a mistake in him, and defensively, especially going forward, I think sometimes he has a lapse of concentration. Like he will lose the ball in that midfield when he doesn't like. Sometimes his passing can go off, and sometimes when he's trying to beat his man, doesn't always do it. But more times, I would say 1v1, underlapping running, physicality, ball carrying is brother, it's up there, isn't it? He's a player that can hurt you. Do you know what I'm saying? In the transition, running with the ball with speed. First touch is excellent as well. He's got a good first touch on him. He's a baller. And we saw it again, Italy versus France, as you already mentioned. He played a bit more wider than he would play for us. Now we like to invert the wing backs a lot. But I like the fact that he went on the outside and come inside, and then he was able to thread that ball through. I thought, yeah, you know what? That's a weapon we could utilize for Udogie. So with Saka, it's his finishing. That's what it is. If he just get on his favorite left foot, that's when he becomes a threat. That's when he becomes a danger. So I I'm just hoping that your doggy's defensively, he's got his defensive hat on, and he's staying because I think in that first half,
in his head is what I'm saying.
The first 45 minutes, Saka got the better of him, and then as you said, when he got that yellow card, it's like it woke him up. He became more disciplined, and Saka was quiet after that in that North London derby at the Emirates. But obviously he was missing. I think we missed him when we were at our stadium. Do you know what I'm saying? Because Ben Davies doesn't.
Ben Davies, and that was done. Ben Davies gone. Sorry,
should have had Van der Ven on as a left back, played Dragusin as a left-sided centre back, or Romero, whatever. Had them two in the middle, and then we would have been all right. We wouldn't have got done like that. But it is what it is. Hopefully, the coach and staff are rewatching that video, looking back and thinking, let's not make that same mistake. You've got your doggy now, and Van der Ven, hopefully he's fit. Because that's the worry, isn't it? The worry is Van der Ven going to be fit enough? And then Arsenal fans are going to be like,
I hope he is.
That highline.
I hope he is. Well, you know what, bro? And people are going to call me a madman for this. Big up to everyone locked in, locked on. There's so many people in the chat. We'll try and get to some of it. I mean, what's his name says, Vindaloo says, are you guys great at set pieces? We'll deal with that question shortly. Little Tim says, am I Little Wayne to you? You're definitely not Little Wayne unless you're a Spurs fan. Daniel Coy's been making some good points in the chat. He says Udogie has not been good enough so far this season, been caught out of position a lot already. I do think that's partly down to the system though, and maybe him not being 100%, but 100% Udogie gets all of these, a lot of the frailties we've seen. I agree with him. Maybe he's not quite 100%, but Udogie can do that job. We've seen him do it well.
Yeah, he's coming off the back of an injury, the muscle injury. So because he missed those games from last season, hasn't had a pre-season, he's not been as sharp, and which is expected, in my opinion. I think give him 4 or 5 games in, and obviously we're playing Arsenal the 4th game, you'll start to see the rhythm pick up. You start to see him be a lot sharper in his mind. As I said already, in that Italy game against France, which was a top opposition, he looked ready for it. Do you know what I'm saying? So 100%. I'm not too worried about him, but yeah, I do have the reservations that Daniel Coyes has put up already.
Yeah. So Ash, we're looking at that Arsenal lineup. I said on maybe Dan Potts or Terrace, I ain't scared of the Arsenal team, and personally, I'm not scared, and I'll explain why. And I'm looking at our team. We've got Vicario. Hopefully, Van der Ven's back. Pretty much the same lineup, but the swap would be that I would have Kulusevski in the 8 with Basuma and Madders. So there was a question from Daniel, do Kulu and James start? I think they do. I think we go Odebear over Brennan Johnson. I think Brennan Johnson, impact player, with the way that he plays, is better for him to come on. Solanke up top. I think we rested him against Newcastle. He could have played, but we rested him, so that's exciting, although we're waiting for the lineup. Now, when I look at the Arsenal team, and look at my logic here, they're not that much different to the threat that Newcastle possessed. Hear me out. I would argue that the midfield 3 of Newcastle is going to be stronger than the midfield 3 that Arsenal are going to put out against us of Partey, Jorginho and Odegaard. Odegaard hasn't been on form so far this season. In terms of the attacking 3, Isak is quicker than Havertz and more of a aerial threat, in my opinion. So it's more likely to rough you up. So I think, okay, we pretty much kept Isak quiet, in my opinion, in the Newcastle game. Then in terms of the left-hand side, we had Martinelli. Martinelli and Harvey Barnes. Is there much difference between the two brothers? Who's better, Martinelli or Barnes? Much of a muchness. And, okay, Saka is definitely edges Gordon, but we kept Gordon quiet. Now, looking at the domination in the location, we're bringing in Van der Ven and we're bringing in Solanke. And I've just given you almost a like-for-like comparison between the Arsenal team and the Newcastle team that played us just the other week. I can't. Why should I be scared?
I think the system's slightly different.
But you get what I'm saying.
You look at individuals and you look at individual battles, and you compare like the individual battles between their midfield 3 and our midfield 3. But the difference is in the system that they have, they invert one of their fullbacks in their midfield to help combat that attacking threat that we pose For example, Timber can play as a defensive midfielder. Do you understand? So when he comes off that left back role, he's adding support to your party, and party's pretty robust. Does turn up for a North London derby. I can't lie. Scored.
But if Bissouma turns up as well, and also the difference is Kulu is a physical presence that can go left and right. We know this. I just think that Tottenham are going to start to ask different questions. I hear what you're saying. I know where you're going with it, but that's why I'm throwing it at you. Can you see why I'm so excited?
I know where you're going for.
But keep going.
You want to go M for M, and they want to go ban for ban. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when you go man for man, like, I hear your argument. When you go system for system, Arteta's really good at hiding the deficiencies of the players that might have a few weaknesses here and there. Can Ange do the same? Can Ange hide the deficiencies of a hot and cold Bissouma? Because let's face it, Bissouma, when he's ready, he will dominate. Like we saw it. We see them dominate Arsenal. They're some of their best men. Remember, Rice had to take a rain check at halftime. Said, "No, my car."
You know what I'm saying? Just been right. I had to just chill out.
I'm good to know.
The rice cooker. You get me? You getting
so you know, you wanna take it from here? I don't know. Yeah, guys, I don't know. So, but then you got the Bissouma, like, where he goes missing, or he'll do something silly, jump on man's back. You know what I mean? Like a camel, pick up a yellow card, and then all of a sudden, we've got to rotate or take him off. Do you understand? And then when Bentancur comes on, is he providing that same energy, that same legs to get around the pitch? Can he impact the game and get hold of a game and boss a midfield like he used to, and still have a goal threat inside the box? Those are where my question marks lay. And then, will Mickey van der Ven be fit? I know we're assuming he's going to be ready.
I hope so.
But if he's not fit, I'm just throwing it out there. If he's not fit, and we have that high line, and Romero goes off on those charges and leaves that back line slightly exposed, and then the midfield's not there to protect. Because my thing is, when we're in possession, that's when we're most vulnerable, because we lose that ball, Arsenal were in.
And they sit back and just hit us over the top with a long ball, then maybe they can get us, unless we've got Van der Ven, who is faster than all of the Arsenal's front three.
And a doggy will be in that midfield. He will be where Maddison is. Do you understand? So go on.
Can I ask a different question then? Are you saying then, if not for the style of play that we play, are we a better team than Arsenal? Because all I keep hearing is because of the high line, we could lose. It's because of the high line. But actually, we just played Arteta ball, didn't have it so high, did like for like with Arsenal. Can that Arsenal team beat us?
I think because of the high line, though, we kind of create a lot of chances because the centre backs are pushed so high up on the halfway line and further into the pitch, that then forces our midfield to pin their midfield back, and then we're closer to their box, and that's when we win those duels. If that makes sense, we tackle. Remember, I said we got the highest tackle rate in the league. Yeah. It's because we're defending high up. Yeah. So we're trying to turn the ball high up. So then when we get that chance, opportunity, we've got a shot or a chance to goal, or like one pass from creating that, Johnson ball across the box, or Maddison cut back with a striker to finish, like a Son or, Solanke, blah, blah, blah. So it's a pros and cons kind of thing. If we drop that line further back, then the gap between our defense and our midfield will be greater. So then Arsenal can live in that space. Does that make sense?
Hell no.
And I get a gap between the centre backs and your midfield line, because then that's like, Arsenal will have all day, like they will eat us alive all day in that midfield.
So do you prefer then Ange ball or not? Sorry, just let me pick up this. Someone said in the chat, I need to do a preview with an Arsenal fan. Don't you worry. I've got an Arsenal fan, my favourite. Some of you think he's a fan, some of you don't. I've got Northside later on tonight at 10 o'clock. Don't you worry. I'm doing bare streams this week. I'm hotting up all you 50. I'm tearing up you lot's timeline. Don't worry. You're getting enough of man this week on Spurs King TV tomorrow, Spurs King TV Wednesday. I am doing bare shows. MK Don, you can at me. I'll do a show with you. I don't give a damn. I'm taking a week off work. I am ready. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm ready for you, man. So yes, I'm doing one with an Arsenal fan later. Whether you think he's a fan or not is your own prerogative. So Ash, before we go into our prediction, then quickly. Do you like Orange Ball or not?
Yeah, no, I love it. I do like it.
So you would prefer the way that we're playing rather than some idiot way of playing?
I do like it with a caveat. I do think there's times in games where we need a bit more pragmatism. So there's times where we go a goal down, for example, and we just need to stay in the game, and we don't need to risk playing that ball forward where we could lose the ball. Sometimes, you know, like when you're playing a game, you just need a bit of confidence. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think with Ange, don't leave Basuma by himself.
Yeah.
Because then it makes it look like it's all his fault. Yeah. Stick a man next to Basuma. Do you understand? When we've got possession. So you've got Basuma and someone else, and then you've got possibly like a Porro and a Mickey Van der Ven and a Romero sitting behind them. So you've got 5 behind. But at the moment, it feels like 6, 7 players are high up. Yeah, and we've only got 2. You know what I'm saying? 2 defending or maybe 3 defending. And to cover all of that ground, it's a lot. And that's why it always looks like Bear Man are running backwards. Like, oh, shit, we've lost the ball. You get me? Bear Man are dusted back, you know, like Avengers. But you just see Bear Man just dusted. That's what it looks like. So I would prefer at times, if we can, have a bit more protection by having maybe 2 DMs and 3 centre-backs. Or I don't mind 2 centre-backs there, but then you have to have 3 midfielders in front of them so you can cover those wide channels. So you got a left. So maybe if the doggy inverts and plays high up, one of our attacking players or one of those players have to be sacrificed and pop into where he should be, alongside Basuma, and then the right side maybe Porro protecting those channels. So that's what I want. That's what I asked for. But generally, I do get Ange Ball. I think Ange Ball, in essence, is like all out attacking, like playing the way you want football to be played. And there is a method behind the madness. I think where he sets up more players around that attacking third, he wants to win the ball high up that attacking third as well. And so the smaller the gaps are, the less chances teams can break out of it. Yeah. But yeah, I love Ange Ball.
That makes a lot of sense. Big up to you. Lee throws in the question to you, says, Ash, I agree, but you really think Andre will change the system? Because he doesn't, but we'll talk about that. If couple of people asked to be mods, if you don't mind, what I'll do, because it's hard to keep up with everything in the comment, but big up to everyone locked in, locked on. I will go back and we will make people mods. And also, I hope that Destiny 5 has not been banned. So I'm going to double check that with the powers that be. Destiny 5 should definitely not be banned because that's my people there. So we will check that out. I don't know who done it. I'm suspecting Artillero has something to do with that. Or if Chinks can let man know, that would be brilliant. So quickly then, bro, I know this has been fantastic, the way the analysis. I guess for me, 2 minutes, where do you think Arsenal can hurt us? And where can we hurt Arsenal? I think that's the most important thing. Where can Arsenal hurt us, and how can we hurt Arsenal? And then I think that leads on nicely to your prediction for the weekend. I think, and I'll be becoming an archaeologist at that point, because I'll be looking back into history, which is the game at the Emirates. That's the real game, and I'll tell you why I think Spurs is going to do what they're going to do this weekend. But go on, Ash. Where can we get hurt?
I think down our sides, personally. I think when we've got the ball, that's when we're most vulnerable. Obviously, we're trying to go for their throats, trying to go for the jugular, and
take their heads off.
Yeah, take them straight off. And literally, I think, down the sides. If I was Arsenal, quick switches of play.
Which side though? Udogis or Porro?
So I think they'll probably target Porros more because of his height. And he hasn't got that much physicality about him. But at times, because your doggy's so high up, I think they'll naturally look to hit that left side as well. Do you know what I mean? Which is their right-hand side, which is Saka's side. So I think they'll look to play Saka in a lot. And I'd imagine when they are in possession, the guard would drift over to the right as he's done before. and so will Party. And so you will see like Arsenal attack with superiority in numbers on the right-hand side, and they will try to make little triangles, diamonds, pyramids, whatever you want to call it, trapeziums. They would try to hurt us as a hexagon down on one side.
Some sort of shape, like that. Some sort of shape.
Some sort of Pythagoras theorem going on. But yeah, they will link dots there, and they would try to find gaps, open us up, shift us to one side, and then once we shift us to one side, then pockets of space open up, and they switch the ball, and that's how they could hit us, if that makes sense. I think we create enough chances in games. We've shown we can create chances against low blocks, against mid blocks, because I think Arsenal have suffered against mid-block teams. I don't think we would change our tactics to become a mid-block team. That's not who we are. We're a high-pressing team. But I think at times where Arsenal might get undone, or I think we're quite good in that sense where we find openings. It's just down to our players to see that pass quick enough and take advantage. We're just lacking that final product, that end product.
Yeah.
That's what I've seen.
Which I think will come.
Yeah, that's why I'm not too fast, because if we weren't creating chances and we were literally doing the horseshoe, and we had nothing else, I like the fact we can go direct, as I said at the start. That mixes up our game completely. I just want us to be more clinical in the transition, because I think that's when Spurs are the most dangerous.
Yeah,
that's it.
Big up to you. Big up. So for me, again, I think I agree with you. For me, what worries me is whether Van de Ven plays or not. I think when you watch the game at the Emirates, we did domination in the location. I think this weekend we do domination in the location. Arsenal don't touch the ball. We were one of the few teams that dominate Arsenal off the park. A lot of Arsenal fans try and lie and say, it was Arteta's tactics. Shut your mouth. It weren't Arteta's tactics. You couldn't get the ball back. Do you get what I'm saying? You would love to come to my club and dominate us. And the only reason why we lost at our ground was because Ben Davies, and they just hit the ball long. Van de Ven covers that. That's the whole point of Van de Ven. But also, you talked about on the last show, this new phenomenon that we've seen, that actually Basuma drops in the middle of the two centre-backs. And if he does that, that hopefully will stem it. I think for me, more than anything, if Tottenham concentrate, we get a result. Simple. Because it's been a lapse in concentration. Hasn't been that we've been poor. Hasn't been that they've been opening us. Hasn't been the high line per se. It's been a lapse in concentration. If we can get the players to concentrate, I think it could be long for Arsenal. For me, this weekend, I can't hold it any longer. I think we slap up Arsenal 3-1, bro. I think they get mullered. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think then people will start respecting our club. Do you get what I'm saying? I think then it gets real. I can't see Arsenal stopping us. Remember, Brighton had bare chances. Villa had chances. Wolves has chances, which means we're guaranteed to have chances against that back line. Shiver me timbers. If he comes out, he's only playing. If he comes out and does the inverted thing, it's long. How are you catching Brennan Johnson? How? How are you catching Odebear? How? I can't see it, bro. Midfield, Jorginho, I'm licking my lips. Martinelli ain't going nowhere. Martinelli is a dud. We know that. When they bring on Trossard, that's when it gets interesting. And it gets interesting because of Trossard's movement, not because he's some special player, but he does seem to find himself in the right places. I think Tottenham bang them, bro. If Solanke plays and Van de Ven plays, it is long for that team. I don't want to hear from Arsenal fans, well, you had your full squad. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Because you've been telling me that I can't talk about injuries, you know. I think Brennan Johnson, Artillero, I think Brennan Johnson has Timber spinning around like Kylie Minogue. Trust me. Trust me. You saw what he did against Newcastle. As long as he doesn't start and he comes on, he's going to have your defenders spinning around because they don't like the pace. You lot don't like to be attacked in that way. And Tottenham is going to have more of the ball than Arsenal. We know that. They're going to sit back and show us respect. That's the one thing no one talks about, Ash. They sat back and showed us respect and went long. And I said the only way Arsenal's going to win, the only way Arsenal can win the game is if they show that same level of respect. Sit back, allow your elders to hold the ball, have the ball, and try and do a smash and grab. Because that's really what it was last season. And I think what's made it, I wish, for me personally, Arsenal fans, hey, Chinks is saying clip this. For me, my bro, I wish Jasmine Rice was playing. Because I don't want to hear anything afterwards. I don't want to hear it. I wish you would. I wish you brought Gyökeres. I wish you had Tony up top. Do you get me? I wish. I want all your bad man there. Yeah? For this weekend's game. I don't give a damn. Wish they were. So anyway, that's me. 3-1 Tottenham. You get what I'm saying? I think we win this. And bro, I have to say, Postecoglou has to win this game to show us. I know it's not like a must win, but I feel like just to show and appease the fan base, he has to get a performance. I thought when we played Man City, when everyone was expecting us to throw the towel in, I need that type of performance. I know we didn't get the result, but the way we played City off the park in that first half, when them man didn't know what was happening, they couldn't track Kulusevski, all of that, I need that to happen again. I need that to happen again. So I'm going with my club to win. I think we will. I think Declan as well, not being there, is a big miss for Arsenal. Jokes aside, I think he leaves a massive gap. And Jorginho, for me, isn't that guy. And Martinelli, that's 2 weak links already. 2 weak links. Jorginho and Martinelli. Odegaard. People tell him shaking their bum for Odegaard. Look at the chance he missed against Brighton. If that's Maddison bangs. Look at the shot that Pope saved. Bad man on his left. Do you get me? Top bins. That's what my brother's doing. Yeah? I like to see a shot like that from Odegaard this season, civil play. You get me? Man having to speak French because it's so dusty. Bro, your prediction. Sorry, I had to let that off my chest, you know.
Yeah, no. I hear it, bro. I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this here. Derby Day is fast approaching. Spurs fans know this, yeah. If Arsenal win, they would have more wins against us in our stadium, which has been open for 5 years, than we have against them at the Emirates, which opened in 2000. So we cannot allow them to win and get that W, because that is embarrassing, my G. That is embarrassing. And if Postecoglou, yeah, not Impostecoglou, yeah, no Coglou, I need to see him step up. And if he's got any sort about him, we do not lose that game, no matter what happens. I think we draw. I'll be real. I know you don't rate Jorginho, but
I think he's dusty.
Apart from that Emirates game where he looked lost. He just looked so lost in that game. I think he's a different type of player. He can find that pass forward, that forward passing. That's what I'm scared of. He's a very progressive passer from deep. Pause. Big pause. That's what I don't like about him. Yeah, he might not be the most mobile character. Yeah, he might not be up and down, but he's got experience. That's what worries me. He knows how to kind of graft out those big games. And before party, he turns up in the NLD for some reason. I remember him shooting from outside the box. I was like, where's that come from? He done that the whole season. Pissing me off. You know what I mean? But a lot of Arsenal fans are sleeping on what Spurs have been doing this season so far, because our result hasn't really demonstrated what we have been doing or what we're capable of doing. Do you understand?
I think so.
So that's the reason why I sit on the fence and I go for a draw. But I think the performance, if we don't lose, the performance must be on top. And I think that's what will help propel us up the season. I think we need a massive game to kickstart our season, because I don't think we started yet.
And that's what I'm hoping for. We need a big boy reaction. I know it's a bit early, but if in the unlikely event this was to happen, and you knew I had to ask this question, in the unlikely event Arsenal get the W. Oh, crikey, the thought of it. First and foremost, I'll be on Northside's show straight after the game. I done promised him. I will be turning up. Don't worry about that. Are we now starting to look at Postecoglou different? I know it's only because for me, let me tell you, the marker of a manager for me is how we turn up in the North London derby.
Yeah,
I knew Mourinho was not a serious guy and Conte weren't serious when we went to the Emirates and we sat back and we looked like idiots. For me, I don't care if it's Tim Sherwood in charge or Ryan Mason. North London derby, you go for man's throat. That's it. Go for the throat, and what will be. Like what you're saying. I don't mind losing as long as the performance is on job. But I'm not going to have my team sit back and get slapped by Arsenal. But if we do lose to Arsenal on the weekend, are you starting to raise the eyebrow, bro? I'm not going to lie, an eyebrow from me will be raised because I'll be pissed first and foremost. And it'll be 2 defeats in 4. And it's a disgrace to be losing to Arsenal, to be honest, because I don't rate that team one bit.
In the words of Castillo, it's not looking good, bro. It's not looking good. If we go and lose, I think the fan base will be hurt by that. I know, like, we've got a League Cup game. We can bounce straight back up. And I think it's very important for Spurs fans to do better. Looking at the cup run that we had last season, we need to improve on that. We can't be going out first round, second round. That's not good enough. So technically, you could say this ain't even the biggest game of our season. But
it's not.
But North London pride, that's what's at stake. And look, the youngers are taught from early. The first thing they're taught is whatever happens, you don't lose against Arsenal. You don't do it. Do you know what I'm saying? That's just part of the DNA. You just don't lose against them. So I think the fan base will lose their heads if we do lose against Arsenal at home. But again, for me personally, I wouldn't question them yet because it's all about the performance. And can we turn those performances into W's? I think we can. If we're showing, like, for example, if we go against Arsenal and we're all over them, I'm saying we're all over them and we lose a 1-0. Yeah, I'm trying to say. We lose a 1-0. If we lose a light 1-0, but we were all over them. Like, we hit the post, their keeper saved it, penalty not given, offside goal, something crazy like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they come along and they get a dead goal, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's something like, oh, well, what could we have done? Then I'm like, you know what? The manager, he laid out the plan worked. It's just down to the players just not executing it. So would I be, but you know, football is football, isn't it? Banter aside, we need to be winning games now. We need to start moving up that table. We can't afford another loss. Let's forget them for a second. We need to get points on the board and pin them back. You know what I'm saying? Humble them a bit and say, "Raw, I swear we're on the same points as you, or I swear we're ahead of you on the table." You know what I mean?
And deep it. Let's deep it. What's his name says? Sorry, he says no. Andino says, "What's the plan for stopping Saka at Udogie?" In my opinion, bro. If Udogie doesn't go and does that inverted thing, and like he said, Ash said, if he does an adaptation there, we just saw it at the Emirates. Saka don't want it from Udogie. That we know. Just stick him on him. Udogie kicks him in his ankle. He knows Wagwan. He ain't doing nothing. Yeah, Saka's not really that guy. Bro, I think I agree with you, bro. I think we have to treat this like any other game. And if we treat it like any other game and we get the points, that's the most thing. The funniest thing, though, what would be really funny, and I swear down, if it happens, I'm not going to let these jokers, these Arsenal cronies live, is Spurs will go above Arsenal on the table. Can you imagine that? Because Arsenal, what's Arsenal done so far? They got 7 points, yeah?
Yeah, they got 7 points.
Yeah, so they would have done the same as us if we win on the weekend, basically. Yeah. After all that shaking of bums, we can still be level by the end of play by 4 o'clock Sunday. That's what I'm looking forward to.
But make sure we outscore them too, because that makes a difference, you know what I mean? But we got 4-0 against Everton. We scored against Newcastle.
Yeah, so we scored more goals than them.
Yeah, we scored more goals than them already. And Leicester as well. So,
after all that, you know what I'm saying? We've scored more goals. Can you imagine? And then these lot are shaking their bums and getting excited. Ash, big up to you, my bro. Thank you for coming in. So there you had it. So what have you gone with, though? You didn't quite say. You said
I said a draw. I said a draw.
What, 1-1? 2-2?
Yeah, 1-1 with a big performance.
Okay. Yeah. We take
we will concede. Do you know what I'm saying? We will concede, I think, me personally. But Saka, like you were saying before, even if the doggy's inverted and Basuma drops in between the two of them, Mickey van der Ven's going to do that recovery pace. Remember, we never had that last time. We had Ben Davies.
Yeah,
Ben Davies played at the back. Oh no, we did. Sorry, but we had the doggy was out. So yeah, I just
that
think
was in the 2-2. That was in the 2-2. Van der Ven played in the. Did Van der Ven play in the 3-0?
Yeah, I think he played at the 3-2 as well. Remember, he scored that goal that went offside.
Yeah.
That was marginal.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's.
And they're not shaking their bum. Crikey, man. It's marginal, man. Marginal. Yeah, man. Well, Ash, let the people know what we got coming up this week. It's going to be heavy, content heavy. We are tearing up your timelines. But Ash, thanks for joining, man. We've got 2-2 and 3-1. What you ain't hearing on this channel is an Arsenal win. Because we can't see it, baby. We can't see your club winning. But what we can see is a Spurs win over here. But go on, Ash. What have we got coming up, bro?
Yeah, man. Spurs Kings TV. You know what it is time. You know what time it is already. We've got a massive show Tuesday. Make sure you tune in for that. Tuesday is always interesting. Like I call it the Civil War. That's what we should rename it. It's no longer Ashmatic's analysis because we didn't play on the weekend, but there's going to be fireworks for that anyway. And we will touch on NLD. Of course, we have to. It's our next game. It's a big game. But rivals the day after. I've got a few man confirmed already. So Arsenal boys, they're ready. Chinks will be in the building, you know already. Chinks will be there. We know we've got Stefan confirmed as well. He's been missing for 2 weeks, but he said, Ash,
I can't wait to deal with Stefan.
Put me down. So we've got two brothers in arms there, and I've got a couple other Arsenal man that you know, of course. Deji, you've been on the shows.
Tell them they're getting chopped, all of them.
Are they talking smoke?
I'm doing 20 streams this week. It's smoke. Northside's getting it tonight. Mandem are getting it. MK the Don. I'm going on TJ Warren. I'm touring. I'm touring the world this week. Damn right. I'll be in Nigeria, Australia, Austria, you know, like that. And over there in Arkansas. I will be everywhere. Everywhere. We are slapping up this Arsenal team. I can't see how that team does something. And I think, Ash, there might be something for us to put on Wednesday on the show, because when you compare Arsenal with Newcastle, I don't really see the difference, bro. I really don't. I don't know if it's my Ray Charles, if I'm doing a Stevie Wonder. I can't see the difference, bro. I think we do to Arsenal what we did to Newcastle, but we go one better, man. We get the W. But look, for those of you in the chat, I ain't going nowhere. Tonight, I expect to see you with my brother with his wooden spoon, chopping things up. So, Ash, we got to do bare more streams, you know. It can't just be Tuesday, Wednesday. We need to just take these Arsenal brothers down one by one. One by one. I'll be on Dan Potts 8 o'clock tonight, chopping them up on the London show, I think, or the European show. And then I will be here 10 p.m. chopping up Northside. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. It was an impromptu show. Big up to all of you.
Today. It's mad. But
what's that?
I didn't even know we were going to talk about Arsenal today. So,
do you know what I'm saying, bro? It was just one of them ones. Everyone, big up to you for tuning in, and look out for the content. This is just the foundation. The main meals is coming. Don't you worry. So big up to everyone locked on, and we'll see you later. Thank you.